Somebody, please help me. I heard a young girl screaming. Looking for the source of the sound, I saw a high school girl being dragged away by a man. I forgot all about rushing to work and rescued the girl, but of course, I ended up being late. What the hell is this? Coming to work late and dressed like that? My boss scolded me. The next day, I was demoted and transferred. However, I stood my ground and said, no need for that. I'm quitting this job today. What? My name is Alex. Ever since birth, my skin was pale and my hair was pitch black and thick. The nurses used to say, he looks just like a doll. As I grew older, I had big eyes and long eyelashes, often being mistaken for a girl. Plus, having the name Alex led to me being called Alexa. I couldn't stand it. I despised being called girly or effeminate by everyone around me, even though it wasn't my choice. Being judged by appearances alone would likely continue as I grew up. So, I decided I needed to change from the inside and started working out. There was a character who mastered karate in a cartoon I liked at the time. And I admired him so much that I started learning karate as soon as I entered elementary school. I was drawn to the real fight aspect of karate. Naturally, I chose karate. At first, I happily went to the dojo, but the training was tougher than I expected, and I almost gave up many times. Bruises on my hands and feet were a daily occurrence, and I had no time to play. However, my father told me, a man sees things through to the end once he starts, and I wasn't allowed to quit until I got my black belt. By the time I hit puberty, I think I had become pretty strong. But my body was still slim, so I often got picked on by local bullies. Despite my delicate appearance, I was known as the weirdo who went to a karate dojo. Of course, beating untrained bullies using the techniques I learned was easy. Still, my father and Mr. Jenkins, my karate teacher, both told me never to use karate for fighting, so I never struck first. However, there was one time in high school when I used karate. It was after school when I was hanging out at the mall with my friends, Tom and Jake. We were having fun walking around the mall when we heard what sounded like a girl screaming. It wasn't a happy scream, it was clearly a cry for help. I looked around and saw a young girl, about elementary school age, being dragged away by a man. Tom and Jake were panicking, wondering whether to call the police or get a security guard. I'll handle the guy. You guys call the cops. I told Jake as I approached the man and the girl. Tom, who was good at studying, came along with me. Hey, man. That girl clearly doesn't want to go with you. Let her go. Mind your own business. No way. I can't ignore a kid who's that scared. While Tom was talking to the man, I made eye contact with the girl. I mouthed, I'll save you soon, and she, on the verge of tears, mouthed back, help me. I nodded and gave Tom a signal. So, are you really her father? Of course I am. How rude. Hey, little girl, is this guy really your father? Ignoring the man's response, I asked the girl. She shook her head vigorously and yelled, no. He's a stranger. Help me. The man clicked his tongue at me as I got into a fighting stance, saying, what a hassle you guys are. He then grabbed a pen from a nearby display and threatened the girl, you know what'll happen if you move, right? Hey, get a security guard. The customers in the shopping mall started panicking. I stepped in front of Tom and struck before the man could react. My punch landed on his arm, making him drop the pen and release the girl. Run! The girl immediately ran to a nearby employee for safety. Meanwhile, I executed a spinning kick that hit the man, keeping my leg extended and drawing a circle from the outside in. With the man on the ground, I pinned him down just as Jake returned with the security guard. Seeing the commotion, the customers started applauding as I restrained the man. Awesome, man. Well done. Despite the chaos, I was just glad the girl was safe. As the security guard took the man away, the situation calmed down, and the girl was already waiting in the security office. Thank you for saving me. Are you hurt? Don't wander off alone anymore, okay? Tom and Jake smiled at the girl as she introduced herself. My name is Emily Blackwood. Thank you so much. We were asked to stay until her parents arrived, but we had other things to do, so we left. Even after that incident, I was constantly covered in bruises. Dealing with bullies left marks, and although I never started fights, I got injured defending myself. especially from those trying to catch me off guard. My mother worried, but my father said, "It's proof you're training hard at the dojo." Yeah, lately, I find karate really fun. Scrapes are a badge of honor for a man. You need to get stronger now to protect your loved ones in the future. He proudly believed my injuries were from karate practice. Since that day, I became capable of defending myself, and the bullies gradually started avoiding me. My father got suspicious when I stopped coming home with injuries, but I just told him I've gotten better at karate, keeping my fights a secret. I always wanted to become a police officer or a martial artist. However, lacking the necessary skills, I ended up working for a regular company, far removed from karate. I applied for a sales job, thinking my karate training would give me confidence and stamina. But I soon regretted it. I couldn't stand sitting at a desk, and I quickly got bored during the training phase. Without interest, I couldn't learn the job well, and my skills never improved. Noticing this, my boss, Ryan, seemed to have given up on me and tended to skip my training. Whenever I asked questions, he'd wave me off, saying, "Figure it out yourself." It was a terrible attitude for a boss, but it was true I lacked skills, so I kept asking other senior colleagues for help. Then came the opportunity to attend a practical training session with one of Ryan's clients. I was just there for support, but the clients seemed to like me a lot. They were so impressed with my appearance that the deal was quickly closed. I don't see what's so great about your girly looks," Ryan sneered at first. But after seeing the client frequently praising me, he grinned as if he had an idea. Well, it seems you might be useful after all." "What?" Ryan, pleased with the outcome, insisted I accompany him to future meetings. My appearance often helped close deals, boosting Ryan's sales performance. Some clients even requested me as their sales representative, but Ryan would always say, "You're still inexperienced, or you're just eye candy. So just stand by my side and smile," taking credit for my work. "Ryan, this is my deal. It's unfair. If you're upset, prove yourself with your skills. You're just a rookie who doesn't know the first thing about sales." Ryan shouted at me in response to my rebuttal. It's true that I don't have the skills right now, so I couldn't argue back. But I wanted to vent my frustration somewhere, so I ended up unloading everything on my parents. I was upset and wanted someone to sympathize with me. While my mother sympathized, my father didn't. "He's right. You lack the knowledge and experience, so you have to work several times harder to catch up." His harsh words made me bite my lip in frustration. However, my father's teachings always had a point. I had learned this since I was a child, so I decided to give it my all. Though I hadn't wanted to admit it, it was true that my appearance had played a role in closing those deals. So, I worked hard on things I wasn't good at. Wanting to be recognized for my pure skills, I started wearing glasses to obscure my face a bit, making sure people wouldn't focus on my looks. I diligently studied sales, asking many senior colleagues to teach me the basics all over again. Thanks to these efforts, my skills were gradually acknowledged, and within 3 years, I was promoted to a team leader with 2 to 3 direct subordinates. Considering the average pace, it was quite a rapid rise. Getting all full of yourself. All you've got going for you is your looks. Despite my promotion, Ryan continued to dump loads of menial tasks on me and repeatedly harassed me. But by this time, I had improved enough to handle his attacks with ease, calmly completing all tasks assigned to me. One day, I was told that, due to the client's request, I would be in charge of an important deal that could determine the company's fate. I was to lead, with Ryan as my support, though he was obviously unhappy with this arrangement. However, since the client was our biggest partner, there was no way to overturn their decision. Then, on the evening before the deal, Ryan suddenly told me to revise the materials. What? Why now? I was naturally confused by the sudden demand. Ryan smirked and said, "The meeting's first thing tomorrow morning. Make sure you finish it in time." With that, he left without offering any help. Seriously? No help at all? In the end, I worked until midnight, exhausted, and finally went home. As soon as I got home, I collapsed on my bed and fell asleep. The next morning, I overslept. Oh no! I jumped up, quickly got ready, and headed to the office without breakfast. On the way, I came across a scene I couldn't ignore. No! I saw a suspicious man dragging a high school girl into a narrow alley. I was in a hurry and almost ignored it, heading to work. But when I heard her scream, "Help! Somebody," my body moved on its own. I rushed over, grabbed the man's arm, and pulled him away from the struggling girl. Ignoring the man's menacing glare, I twisted his arm and swept his legs out from under him, making him fall to the ground in pain. "Run!" While restraining the man, I urged the girl to escape. But she was so scared she couldn't move, trembling uncontrollably. Seeing her shaking, I sighed and said, "This is such a hassle. Stay back," as I moved her out of the alley and stood between her and the man. The man, enraged, came at me, but I aimed for his face and performed a spinning heel kick, knocking him out with one blow. The girl was stunned by my moves. But I tied the unconscious man's hands with my tie and secured him to a street sign post before collapsing to the ground. After ensuring the man couldn't escape, I explained the situation to the gathering bystanders and asked them to call the police. I calmed the still shaking girl and, when the police arrived, I said, "She is still scared, so please delay questioning her. Also, make sure a female officer handles it." After giving them my contact information, I decided to walk her to the nearest station. Once she was safely at the station, I checked my watch and turned pale. "Damn! I'm completely late," I muttered under my breath. Hearing this, she looked like she was about to cry. "I'm sorry." "It's my fault, isn't it?" she said. "No, it's not your fault," I reassured her. "Yes, it is. Please, take me to your workplace. I'll apologize with you." She pleaded desperately. I shook my head. "No, you need to go to school. If I walk around with a high school girl in uniform, I'll get in trouble before we even reach my office." I smiled wryly and tried to leave. But she grabbed my arm and insisted. "Wait. At least let me thank you." Her determination left me at a loss, and since I didn't have much time, I quickly wrote my phone number on the back of my business card and handed it to her. "Call this number in the evening, okay?" She looked relieved, nodded, and waved as she disappeared into the station. I quickly called Ryan. "I'm heading directly to the client," I told him. By the time I arrived at the company, the scheduled time had long passed. Naturally, Ryan was waiting with a furious look on his face. Having run at full speed, I was drenched in sweat, my hair was disheveled, and I wasn't even wearing a tie. "You're late. And what's with that look? Are you kidding me?" he yelled. "I'm sorry. Forget it. Go home now. Don't even bother coming back to the office today. You're a nuisance." Ryan was furious, and I couldn't even make excuses. I just handed over the materials I had prepared and said, "I'm very sorry," before heading home for the day. The situation escalated that evening. "Because of you, we lost a $5 million deal. How are you going to fix this? You're in big trouble. Be ready for tomorrow," Ryan screamed over the phone. "This is it. I'm done," I muttered, letting out a deep sigh. Just then, a call came from an unknown number. Hesitantly, I answered, and it was the high school girl I had helped that morning. I remembered I had told her I'd be available in the evening. "Hi, it's me, the high school girl you helped this morning," she said. "Oh, from today," I replied. "How did things go at work after that?" she asked. I hesitated to answer. "Well, not so great." After persistent questioning, I ended up telling her about Ryan. I couldn't believe I was venting to a stranger, let alone a high school girl. I must have been really stressed out. What a pathetic story. "It's my fault you're in such a mess. Can you meet me now?" "I want to hear more," she pressed. I was bewildered. "No, I can't really." "No. I can't accept that," she insisted. "But talking to you won't help. If you don't talk to me, I'll go to your company myself." Seeing her determination, I reluctantly agreed to meet at a nearby cafe. When I arrived after changing, I found not only her but also an older man in a high-end suit. I tensed up immediately. Even just standing there, the man had an intimidating aura, and it was clear he was no ordinary person. "Hey," she called out to me. "Are you Alex?" "Yes, I am. I am Henry Blackwood, this girl's grandfather." Thank you very much for saving my granddaughter. No, I only did what anyone would do. His polite gratitude made me feel embarrassed. And this is the second time you've saved her. I can't thank you enough. What? The second time. I tilted my head in thought. I didn't think I had rescued people that often. Hey. It's me, Emily. Emily Blackwood. Don't you remember? Emily interrupted, stepping between Henry and me. Emily? Oh. Emily Blackwood from 8 years ago? The girl at the shopping center? Yes. You saved me back then too. All the adults were just passing by. Her words brought back memories from 8 years ago. I couldn't hide my surprise at this coincidence or twist of fate. Well, please have a seat. Would you like some coffee? Yes, thank you. Standing around in a cafe would attract attention. So I sat down as Henry suggested. Emily has often been targeted by bad adults due to family circumstances. She's been through multiple kidnapping attempts since she was little. Henry's serious tone made me shudder. To be honest, I'm the head of the Blackwood group. People see my granddaughter as an easy target to make me comply with their demands. I remembered that the Blackwood group was one of the wealthiest families in the country. I had envied rich families, but hearing this made me realize they have their own struggles. She's been through a lot because of it. Grandpa, I'm okay, Emily said reassuringly. You're such a good girl, Emily. Henry's expression was gentle as he patted Emily's head. Then he turned to me with a serious look. Alex, I heard you faced trouble because of my granddaughter. Please accept this as an apology. He took out a thick envelope from his jacket pocket and placed it on the table. I could easily guess what was inside, having seen such scenes on TV. I was startled. No, I can't accept this. As I refused, Henry looked at Emily. This is troubling. What should we do, Emily? Emily whispered something in his ear. And then smiled at me. I've been looking for you all this time, she said. Ah, I have a proposal for you. Henry made a surprising proposal. Though it confused me, Emily pleaded, now, I want to help you, and I hesitantly agreed. The next morning, when I arrived at the office, Ryan eagerly called me to the conference room. Before I could even say good morning, he spoke. Hey, Alex. Remember what I told you yesterday? Yes. Good. Listen up. You're being demoted and you will be transferred to the Florida branch. For some reason, Ryan laughed as he said this. Oh, and by Florida, I mean a remote island. So basically, you're being demoted. Well, at least you're not fired, thanks to me. Despite his condescending tone, I replied without changing my expression. No need. I'm quitting today, I said. Then I handed in my prepared resignation letter. What? Are you sure? You'll regret it, Ryan sneered. I won't. You think a guy like you, with only his looks, will find another job? You'll just end up a recluse. Ha, what a joke. He mocked me contemptuously. Just then, our president, Mr. Johnson, rushed into the sales department, looking flustered. Ah, Mr. Johnson. I was just telling this fool about his demotion. What? What did you say? Seeing Mr. Johnson's pale face, I watched as he turned to Ryan and shouted. What are you doing? It's not Alex who's getting demoted. It's you, Ryan. What? At that mother end, Henry walked in. Who? Who are you? Ryan stammered. This is Henry Blackwood, the head of the Blackwood Group, Mr. Johnson introduced. What? The client from yesterday's deal was a subsidiary of a company owned by the Blackwood Group. After hearing from Emily, Henry immediately contacted the client and offered to continue the contract on the condition that Ryan was demoted and I was recruited. Mr. Johnson accepted Henry's offer. Ryan, you're the one being transferred to the Florida branch and demoted, Mr. Johnson declared. This is outrageous. Ryan protested. But his misdeeds had already been reported to Mr. Johnson, leaving Ryan with no way out. Though he initially accepted the demotion, Ryan didn't want to be sent to a remote area. He resigned before the transfer process began, while still holding the title of department head. Unable to find a new job, Ryan ended up working part-time at a convenience store where some former colleagues saw him. Rumors spread, and colleagues visited the store to mock him, causing him to eventually move away. Meanwhile, I was offered a position at a company under the Blackwood Group and was invited to live with the Blackwood family for training. When Henry and Emily personally visited my parents to greet them, they were astonished. "Your son has saved my granddaughter twice," Henry said. My mother smiled proudly, and my father nodded with pride. "He has the potential to become an even greater man. Please allow me to take him under my wing," Henry requested. My father said respectfully, "This is an incredible offer. Please take care of my son." With that, they gladly sent me off. Emily was excited, saying, "We can live under the same roof from today," but I was still bewildered. This was because Henry's proposal included me becoming Emily's potential husband. I tried to use the age difference as an excuse, but Emily wouldn't budge. "I don't care about that. I have been determined to marry you since the first time you saved me," she insisted. "From back then?" "You were just a child," I said. "First love knows no age. Besides, the age difference is only 8 years. That's nothing for celebrities," Emily argued. Henry also pushed strongly, saying, "Emily's partner needs to be strong. Alex is perfect with his skills and experience." My parents quickly approved, leaving no room for opposition, making our relationship official. I couldn't keep up with the rapid developments, but I decided to set a boundary. "At least wait until you graduate high school before we date," I said. "Okay." As Emily gave a cheerful reply and hugged my arm, I thought to myself, I'm glad I took up karate. And I was grateful to my father for encouraging me to continue.